arúgbó ọjọ́. Mo wólẹ̀ fún wa, bàbá àwọn tí ò ní bàbá. Mo wólẹ̀ fún wa o, kábíyó màsíò bàbá mi. Mo wólẹ̀ fún wa, ògbénú mo dé aṣọ òdodo bàbá. Mo wólẹ̀ fún wa o, arúgbó ọjọ́. Mo wólẹ̀ fún wa, bàbá o. Mo wólẹ̀ fún wa, arúgbó ọjọ́.
Thank you, Jesus. The Lord bless you. I'd like to welcome you very quickly to my platform. I just want to thank every one of you following us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Instagram. The Lord has been kind, the Lord has been faithful, and the whole lot has been happening. We bless the name of the Lord for all that He has been doing. To His name be praised in the name of Jesus. Very quickly, I want to talk on the topic, skeleton of the ancestors. And I'm taking my reading from Genesis chapter 50, from verse number 25. Or I'll read from verse 24. And Joseph said to his brethren, I am going to die, but God will visit you and bring you out of this land to the land He swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob to give you. Verse 25. And Joseph took an oath from the sons of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you. You will carry my bones from here. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and buried him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. In other words, Joseph was buried in Egypt, the land of captivity, the land of slavery, the land where the children of Israel spent 430 years crying to God. Joseph spent 110 years out of 430 years the children of Israel spent their life as slaves in the land of Egypt. And as it were, the plans of God were in place. The people were in Egypt, they were crying. But yet the plan and the government of God was activated to bring about restoration and recovery. That no matter what happened to them, they should never give up. And in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the crisis, in the midst of all that was happening, the word that came from Joseph is this. Genesis chapter 15 verse 24 says, and Joseph said to his brethren, I am going to die, but God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land He swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob to give you. Anytime God's man died, God's project does not die. Anytime God's agent to bring about liberation to a people is off the stage, the project of God remains stable. And Joseph told them, he promised your fathers to give them a land. He promised your fathers to give them a line. In particular, it's not just the father. That's why we are talking about the skeleton of the ancestors. There are things that God told your fathers. There are covenants that run through the bloodline of your family. There are words, there are things that flows from the archive of the ancient people that dwells and whose blood you are carrying now. You see, while you search for what the devil did, also look for what God did. While you search for what the devil did in your life and family, don't forget to also inquire about the things that God has done in your family. So many of us are so concerned about the covenant of our fathers, are so concerned about the things our fathers did that landed you in poverty, that landed you in frustration, that landed you in chaos. But you have forgot the immortality that came to invade and open a portal in those days in your family. Let me tell you something. Anytime you realize that there is a wave, something, a spiritual atmosphere, always coming through anytime you think of one of your ancestors, go and search. There is something that person cut with God. It's not every time we look for the devil. Let's look for God. And also remember to keep the covenant activated. Joseph said to his brethren, my time is off. My season is off. I am going to go off the stage, but God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. The sword that God swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was not to them, but to their generation, to their descendants, to do what? To give them. And Joseph took an oath from the sons of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you will carry my bones. You will carry my skeleton. As you journey from Egypt, don't leave my skeleton in bondage. As you journey out of Egypt, don't leave me behind. As you journey out of Egypt, I came to Egypt and found you guys in Egypt. I brought about the birth and the manifestation and the population, the spreading of Israel. But as you exit Egypt, don't leave my bones in bondage. Though I may die in Egypt, but my bones should not remain in Egypt. Why have you forgotten the encounters, the days of memory, the days God visited, the days when you have encounter with God? Why do you allow suffering, persecution, frustration, abandonment, whatever it is that you may call, overshadow your encounter with God? Carry along the skeleton of those encounters. Because of suffering, because of pain, because of persecution, you may have to forget in the flesh the robust encounter that you had with God. But don't forget the skeleton, the scratch, the affliction that came on you in the days that the encounter went through your seasons. Don't forget God. Don't forget God. Don't forget God. Those encounters are the skeletons of your ancestors. Those encounters are the skeletons that will help you restructure. You may have fallen off the ladder. You may have gone out of the way. You may have abandoned your calling. But do not forget the skeleton of those encounters that you had in Egypt. It might have took place in Egypt. Don't quickly throw them off the window. It may have taken place in the days of your tears. It may have took place in the days when you look for God and you couldn't find him. But don't forget the skeletons. Most of the time the affliction leaves scars on our body. The affliction leaves us in the limbo of thoughts, thinking, where is this God? Don't forget to remember. Because the skeleton help you to rebuild the body. The skeleton help you to trace the structure. The skeleton helps you to have a redesign of the past. The skeleton reshape and give direction. And that is why it's a moment of recovery. Because you can only recover when you can trace with the skeleton in your hands. God speaking to Ezekiel, can these bones live again? And Ezekiel told God, you only know. And by the words of prophecy, the Bible said the bones begin to find the other bones. The skeleton began to reconnect to the other skeleton. It was on that corridor that the body began to form. Anytime you forget the experience of encounter, don't forget the skeleton that formed that encounter. Don't forget how you met God. Don't forget those days of tears. Those days you were abandoned. Those days you looked for God. And eventually God manifested in a certain manner that actually gave a shape to who you are today. Your experience today may be robust based on the skeleton of those encounters. Joseph told the children of Israel, I may die in Egypt, but don't leave my skeleton in Egypt. Your encounters and your suffering may have taken place in the days of your persecution. And because of the affliction, the enemy's affliction, the pains and the suffering, and all the frustration that befell you, you forgot the days you met God and the days God met you. And because of that, you want to give up and run away. Turn your back on God and begin to find a template that may not be consistent with divinity, with the immortal that you encounter. I came to let you know that the skeleton is what helps you to rebuild the system of those encounters. Nobody ever journeyed with God. That's why Psalms chapter 23 verse 4. Yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff comfort me. How does the rod and the staff comfort? Remembering the days of those robust encounters when he is the Jehovah that provides all you want.